What's going on, everyone? It's Bob with Cinephellas, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking with the creators of Prehistoric Planet. That's Mike Gunton and Tim Walker. We talk about the second season, we talk about their love of dinosaurs, and which one of them was the nerd beforehand and which one of them has turned into a nerd afterwards. Spoiler alert, there's a really quick ending thanks to Mother Nature and technology really loving me. Have a listen, have a watch, and definitely check it out. If you like dinosaurs, even if you don't, education's fun sometimes.
So congratulations on your second season here. How does it feel to be able to get that out there for the people to enjoy?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
On so many levels.
I've got two kids, Bob, right? And I've been at the birth of both of them. And I'd say that getting this out now is being at the birth of another child. It's both relief, it's magical, and can't wait to introduce it to everybody else.
You know what? That's probably the best analogy I've heard anyone use on any project they ever did, was the fact that it was like a child and excited to show it to everyone else and all that, and hope that they don't embarrass you.
Yes. It's been a long journey, that's for sure. It's been a long journey. And the weird thing is, if you're going to take the childbirth analogy completely, not that I mean, I've got children, but I haven't actually given birth, obviously. But my wife says you give birth, it's hell, and then you forget all about it and you have another one. So maybe that's the final analogy.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? Yes, same here. Never given birth, have two children of my own. So this was obviously, just by watching the season, it's obviously such a labor of love. Now, were you guys those kids that were obsessed with dinosaurs as children, as kids, or was this a love that you found later in life?
Well, I loved dinosaurs and everything about them when I was a child, and then I was really lucky. I got a job. My first proper adult job was working in a museum where I had to walk under a dinosaur every day to go into work, a big Diplodocus. And it's always been there with me. And then as my life has gone on, the opportunity to make films and to incorporate that love of the prehistoric world has just become like a dream come true. So it's been absolutely wonderful.
I'm slightly different. I've always been interested in dinosaurs. Of course, everybody is, but I was never a dinosaur geek in the same. I'm the odd one out in the same, but I'm a wildlife geek. But that was why it was so great having Tim on the team, because not only is obviously a wildlife filmmaker and knows about VFX, but also knows about dinosaurs in a way that I don't. And it's a really good, it's been such a powerful, base for us to have those three skills in the running of this project. But I have come to love dinosaurs. I've become I'm never going to be a geek because these guys are so far ahead of me, but I do find them absolutely fascinating, and I'm on my way.
We're lucky we've got a wonderful lead scientific consultant who's embedded in the team. He's called Dr. Darren Naish, and every week we have a production meeting, and at the end of the production meeting we have 5 minutes for Dr. Darren's Dino Download, where he gives us a little rundown of what's going on in the paleo world and gives us the headlines for that week, and then informs us of the new discoveries. And on average, every week there's a new discovery in terms of paleontology and a new description to science. So in the time we've been making Prehistoric Planet, we've seen over 200 new descriptions to science from the paleo world, which is pretty cool.
There's a whole subculture. There's a dinosaur subculture of dinosaur geeks, and there's a subculture of dinosaur artists in the dinosaur geeks. So if you go onto Twitter or onto on social media and see the paleo art that is stimulated by this series, it is insane. It is extraordinary. I mean, the skill and the imagination and the just mad. It's kind of mad in a wonderful way.
Absolutely. Considering when you said that many new things in the paleo era, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, as this is just as someone who doesn't talk with the doctor about this stuff, to hear about how many discoveries that are still going on, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're like people. I think sometimes think that paleontology moves at a glacial pace because it starts as such a slow process. Having to excavate fossils and analyze them, it's a very slow process at the start. But in terms of the fact that we're in a golden age of dinosaur interpretation, because people can talk to each other very quickly, data can transfer around the world like never before, and we've got a wonderful relationship with the paleo community. So we've been able to get in touch, get our finger on the paleo pulse, so to speak, so we can find out what's coming out there and incorporate it into the series.
Well, there's a part of Twitter and Reddit I need to get in on. I had my youngest, my 8-year-old, watched a lot of this with me, and he was so into it. He likes dinosaurs, not a love, but we're starting to get there now. And he was telling my niece, who just turned 2, oh, you guys see these dinosaurs? So she got all excited as well. So she liked saying, dinosaurs, but now like my 8-year-old is becoming obsessed now. So I have to credit you guys on a new love for him.
Good stuff. Well, interesting thing is it's a sort of a gateway to understand, one of the joys about doing this is that people do love dinosaurs and they're fascinated by them, but it's by getting involved in this, then they get excited about the natural world, about nature around today. And that's it's another purpose for doing this, is to help and encourage that curiosity in nature and think about the natural world, which is such an important thing to do at the moment.
Absolutely. And continuing any kind of education on a subject is kind of cool, especially when you look at from the time you're a child till now, all the new revelations they had. Like it's weird to think that I was alive at the point where they went, oh, well, the asteroid theory, I believe, came out in the 90s, in 90 something, where they said, the asteroid came. And I was looking at that and I go, that's absolutely insane, because mentally, like, I always thought, like, this is how it is. And for generations after me, it's always going to be, that's what it was. But it's kind of cool to think that, 50, 60 years ago, that was not the case at all. So the constant redefining of it is amazing. That's why I find what you guys did for now 2 seasons has been really informative, because it's kind of refreshing everything. And as new information comes out, you're almost becoming this, like, these teachers for people. I'm 42. You guys were teaching me stuff on it.
Just to finish on that, I think one of the things that we really very proud of in this project is, of course, it's television, it's entertainment, and it has to be empathetic and all those things you want from a great documentary and a great TV show. But it's also got very, very high levels of scholarship associated with it. The veracity and the detail and the amount of work that we've synthesized, but also generated sometimes in getting scientists to work on this. So I think hopefully it creates a kind of baseline of what this will be I hope the kind of the go-to for the next 20 years. What was the world like 66 million years ago in this time? What did the animals look like? What do they do? If you want to know, it doesn't matter who you are, you go to this series to find it. And that I think, if we can do that, I think it gives it an extra purpose, which I think we wanted to try and do initially.
Oh, believe me, if it goes by word of mouth, I've been telling a bunch of people need to get Apple TV strictly to watch this. I mean, there's other good shows, but the people I've been using it is people who are dinosaur fans, or like me, just huge documentary fans. Any kind of educational aspect is a lot of fun to watch, especially when it has to do with history. Mm-hmm. Now, with the episodes you guys have put out so far this season, what was your favorite one to put together? Because personally, I loved the Badlands, stuff like that. I liked seeing the background and how this happened to what were your guys' favorite episodes to kind of push out there?
It's a bit like asking which is your favorite kid, Bob, isn't it? We're never allowed to say which one, but I think the Swamps episode is really, really beautifully put together. It's quite surprising in terms of the stories that we're telling, because we incorporate seasonal change, where we see a swamp in the dry season and the behavior that comes out of that. We then see an unusual cast of characters. So we see a storyline that's based around a frog. Who thought that a frog would be telling the story about life in the time of the dinosaurs? And then we get some really cool science in there as well, with the Pachycephalosaurus, where we see them using their 30-centimeter thick skulls to try and battle for harem dominance. It's a beautiful episode. There again, They all are.
Like I said, sudden disconnect from the world there. I hope you enjoyed it. Honestly, those guys are awesome to talk to. After the sudden disconnect, I was even told, like, hey, they enjoyed it. You know, it was fun. I'll be honest, you like dinosaurs, you don't like dinosaurs. This show's actually really cool. Both seasons have been fantastic thus far. And this coming from someone who liked dinosaurs as a kid, you know, it just, I guess, didn't care about much once you get older. But this one actually kind of takes you a little through more of it and lets you know stuff that they're still finding, which is always fun. So until next time, this has been Bob with Cinephellas. Peace.